Hey everyone, it's Kristen, back with another genius recipe, this time from this new cookbook that's gonna be out in a few weeks, Simply Genius. This recipe is for one of the very fastest ways that you can get dinner on the table. It's for a super bright, flavorful tomato sauce that cooks in as little as 5 minutes, thanks to a few genius tricks. So this recipe comes from Heidi Swanson, who is the force behind the long-running and beloved website 101 Cookbooks, and the author of several amazing cookbooks herself, most recently Supernatural Simple. So Heidi uses a few plays in this recipe that develop a ton of flavor really fast, and one of them is to use a good amount of finely chopped garlic. But she uses it in a way that really surprised me. I think you know your garlic is really nice and fresh when it sticks all over your fingers. I am so used to seeing recipes where you would take this pile of garlic and you would go set your pan on the stove empty, fill it with oil, heat it up, wait till it shimmers, and then throw in your garlic. Heidi does not do that. She puts it all right in a cold saucepan, along with a good amount of olive oil and her seasonings. So we've got chili flakes, our salt, and I just added the garlic, and we are going to head back to the stove. And at this point, if your pasta water isn't boiling already yet, it's a good time to make sure because this part is going to move really fast. So I have this over medium-high heat. It's going to heat up very quickly, and I'm actually going to stir it the whole time that it's heating up so that all of the flavors from the garlic and the chili flakes and the salt are going to infuse into that oil really thoroughly, much more so than if I was to heat up the oil and then toss them in at the end. It is such a simple reorientation of how I always think to saute garlic, but it has a really big impact in the final flavor of the sauce. As soon as it becomes fragrant, but before the garlic burns, I'm going to dump in the tomato sauce. Right, I think we're good. All right, tomatoes are stirred in. Really all we have to do now is let them heat through. So as soon as they come up to a simmer, which will be maybe 2 minutes depending on your stove, it's done and you can take it off the heat. But while it's coming up to a simmer, let me give you a quick sneak peek of the new book and why I think that this recipe fits into it so perfectly. This book is filled with the simplest genius recipes that I could find that would fit into our lives in all kinds of ways. So that means that there are 3 different dinner chapters because we need so many dinner recipes, but we don't always need them in exactly the same ways. Sometimes we might want to throw something on the stove or in the oven and forget about it for a little while. Sometimes we want to just like chop a bunch of things and get in the zone and have dinner pretty quickly. And sometimes we just don't have any time and we don't have much on hand. So this recipe comes from the quickest pantry dinner shortlist. So there's just one more secret ingredient to this sauce once it's done cooking. And that is done. Let's go put in that secret ingredient. Here it is, but we're not using the juice of this lemon, we're going to use all of the zest. It's not going to make it taste more acidic or even especially lemony. It is just going to make the tomato taste juicier and brighter and fresher. And this is a trick that you can take to any tomato sauce recipe. Even if you're just opening up a jar of tomato sauce, it's going to taste fresher if you add some lemon zest. So here I'm gonna add pretty much the zest of the whole lemon, just saving a little bit to sprinkle on top at the end to make it pop even more. Wow. Okay, that is so alive and so delicious, especially for something that cooked in only 5 minutes. I love it just the way that Heidi has it, but she also talks about other ways you can riff. She says that sometimes she adds a little bit of cream at the end and it totally changes the character of the sauce. She recommends adding capers or black olive paste and it'll take it more in like a puttanesca direction. You can use it on pizza, you can use it on other layered things like lasagnas, anywhere that you would use tomato sauce, but today I'm just gonna use it on pasta. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, man. Little buddies. So look, this boiled over, because I forgot two things. One is one of my favorite genius tricks I learned in working on this book from Priya Krishna, who actually uses it in her dal recipe, to leave a wooden spoon in the pot to help break up surface tension to help prevent it from boiling over. Works in dal, also works in pasta. Also, I forgot that my electric stove is a beast and high is really, really high. So once you get it up to a boil, you can turn it down to make sure that it's still at a rapid boil and not on like rocket fuel mode. And if you have more tips, please tell me because you never know. I think this pasta's probably done. Perfect, okay. All right. Put in a little bit of that there. Pasta water. Last thing here is that last little bit of lemon zest that you can put right on top. Okay. Look at that. You know, one other thing I forgot to mention is that another reason this happens so fast is because Heidi chooses a type of canned tomatoes that is basically already in sauce form. She uses crushed tomatoes. But if all you have is diced or whole, you can definitely just give those a quick blitz in the blender, crush them by hand, whatever you want to do to get the texture you want. I also really love that this recipe kind of takes me full circle back to the very first Genius Recipes cookbook and its cover recipe, which is Marcella Hazan's tomato sauce with butter and onion. A very famous, very beloved recipe. I will make Marcella's tomato sauce forever, but I will make it in very different moments from this new one. Marcella's is the one that I'm gonna make when I have a little bit more time and I wanna just throw some things on the stove and let them simmer away while I do other things. It's also what I'm going to make when I want something that tastes a little sweeter, mellower, and is just really about the flavor of the tomatoes. Heidi's is the one that I'm going to make when I want something that is maybe a little spicier, full of other flavors, and when I just don't have any time, which is fairly often with a 3-year-old. These two recipes are really emblematic for me of one of the biggest things that I've learned after doing Genius Recipes for Food 52 for the last 11 years, which is that there is no one perfect best way to do anything. There are often lots of different genius ways to get amazing food, depending on what you need in your life right now. I hope that you make this recipe from Heidi next time you are home and tired and looking around and trying to figure out what you can make for dinner fast from the pantry. I hope that you love it and let us know in the comments. You can get this recipe on Food 52 right now. You can get this whole cookbook of recipes like it in a few weeks on September 27th. And if you pre-order it before then, you will get a bonus pack of 14 more new recipes and riffs that you can be making until the book comes out. For much more on this recipe and this cookbook, tune into the Genius Recipe Tapes podcast this week, anywhere you get your podcasts. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that you will get all of the Genius recipes. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.